The first thing I noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind, not the comforting kind people talk about when they escape the city. This silence felt intentional, like it was waiting for me to notice it. Even the air felt careful, as if sound itself had learned how to hide. I was lying in bed when it started, staring at the ceiling, listening to my own breathing because there was nothing else to listen to. No distant traffic, no dogs barking, no hum of electricity, just me and the quiet. Then I heard my name, not loud, not clear, more like a thought that wasn't mine, a whisper that didn't travel through the air but appeared directly inside my head. It said my name the way someone says it when they're very close, close enough that they don't need to raise their voice. I sat up slowly, heart steady,
But then it happened again. My name. This time slower, each syllable placed carefully, as if whoever was saying it wanted to make sure I felt it. I stood up and walked to the door, barefoot, every step feeling louder than it should have been. The hallway light was off. The darkness wasn't complete, just enough to make shapes look uncertain, like they might rearrange themselves if I stared too long. I whispered, "Hello?" My voice sounded wrong, too loud, like I had broken an unspoken rule. The silence didn't answer, but it shifted. I felt it. Something had acknowledged me. I went back to bed, telling myself I was tired, stressed, imagining things. I closed my eyes and focused on my breathing. In, out, slow, controlled. That's when the whisper came back, closer than before, right beside my ear, warm, intimate, familiar. It didn't say my name this time. It said, "You're listening now." I didn't scream. I didn't jump. I just opened my eyes and stared into the darkness because some deep instinct told me that reacting would be a mistake. My heart began to beat faster, not from fear exactly, but from recognition. This felt familiar in a way I couldn't explain, like remembering something you didn't know you had forgotten. The whisper continued, low and smooth, perfectly calm. It told me not to turn around.
The whisper explained things slowly, patiently, like a teacher speaking to a student who was finally ready to understand. It said this wasn't the first time it had spoken to me. It said I had listened before, many times. I tried to speak, but my throat felt tight. My voice caught somewhere between thought and sound. The whisper seemed pleased by this. It said fear makes the listening sharper. It said that was why nights were chosen. Nights make people honest. I don't know how long I lay there, staring into nothing, listening to something that refused to exist in a way I could define. Time felt stretched, thin, like it could tear if I moved too suddenly. Eventually, the whisper faded, not abruptly, but like someone stepping back slowly, making sure I stayed aware of their absence. When it was gone, the silence felt different, emptier, disappointed. I didn't sleep after that. Morning came like a lie, sunlight spilling into the room as if nothing had happened. The normal sound. That sentence stayed with me, clinging to my thoughts like a fingerprint I couldn't wipe away. That night, I prepared myself. I told myself I would stay calm, that I would ask questions, that whatever this was, it had rules, and rules meant understanding. I turned off the lights, lay back, and waited. The silence came sooner this time, sliding into place like it had been waiting all day. My breathing slowed, my muscles relaxed, not because I was calm, but because something else was guiding them. The whisper returned, softer now, almost affectionate. It told me I was doing well. It told me listening was the most important part. I asked it what it was. The whisper paused, as if considering how much truth I could handle. Then it said it wasn't a what, it was a when. That didn't make sense, and it knew that. I felt a subtle a bed that felt familiar in the wrong way. The whisper explained that time doesn't move the same way when you listen properly, that moments overlap, that some nights bleed into others. It said I had heard this explanation before, and that I had accepted it then too. I tried to remember. There was nothing, just a vague sense of déjà vu, thick and uncomfortable. The whisper seemed amused by my confusion. It said forgetting was part of the process, necessary, clean. It told me that tonight was about remembering just enough. My heartbeat grew louder in my ears, a steady drum that felt out of sync with the whisper's calm cadence. I asked it why me. The whisper answered immediately, as if it had been waiting for that question. It said, because I listen when I think no one is watching, because I pay attention to the quiet, because I don't fill every empty space with noise. It said, the whisper moved closer. So close I felt the sensation of lips brushing the shell of my ear, though there was nothing there. It told me not to worry, that nothing was being taken, something was being returned. I asked what. The whisper smiled, and I could hear it in the sound of the voice, a subtle curve, a warmth that didn't belong. It said, my other nights, the ones I don't remember, the ones where I listened longer, the ones where I said yes. My stomach tightened. I tried to move, to sit up, but my body felt heavy, anchored, not frozen, just convinced that staying still was the correct choice. The whisper said this was progress. It said resistance makes the sound distort. It said clarity comes from stillness. Then it asked me a question. It asked if I could hear it now, underneath the silence. I focused, straining, and at first there was nothing. Then, faintly, beneath everything, a low, rhythmic sound, like breathing, but deeper, slower, not coming from beside me, coming. The sound grew clearer the more I listened, filling the spaces between my thoughts. The whisper grew quieter as the sound grew louder, as if its job was almost done. It told me this was where things usually ended for the night, that I would forget most of this by morning, that forgetting was kind. Before it faded completely, it left me with one last sentence, spoken so softly it felt like a secret meant only for me. Tomorrow night, don't wait for me. Call me. Then the silence collapsed in on itself, and I was alone, truly alone, for the first time since it had begun. Morning came again, bright and ordinary, but something was wrong. I knew it before I even opened my eyes. The silence was still there, hiding beneath the noise, patient, expectant. I remembered the whisper. I remembered the sound beneath the silence. And worse than that, I remembered the urge. All day it followed me, a subtle pull, like an itch behind my thoughts. When night finally came, I stood in the dark, heart racing, knowing exactly what it meant to call it, even though I couldn't explain how I knew. I lay down, closed my eyes, and listened.